Hello, good day everyone. So for today's discussion, we will have experiment 1 wherein this is the differences or difference between organic compounds and inorganic compounds, okay? So going back to our lecture discussion that we had this week, we had already described the differences of the two, okay? So going back to our discussion, organic compound is defined as a chemical compound that contains carbon bonded with hydrogen, and it can also be combined or bonded with the other elements such as oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and halogens. And these compounds are usually associated with living organism. So what are the few examples for the organic compounds? So we have methane. Okay, this methane is being used in natural gas, in fuel. And some other examples is acetaminophen, wherein it is being used in the laboratories. At the same time, it is being used as a pain reliever. Okay, what are the other examples? Ethanol. So this ethanol is being used as an alcohol and also as a disinfectant. Okay, what about the inorganic compounds? So what is the definition of these compounds? So these chemical compounds do not contain carbon-hydrogen bond, but they are usually coming from non-living sources such as metals and non-metals or minerals and rocks. Okay, so what are the few examples for the inorganic compounds. So we have water. So water is being used as our drink in our daily living, wherein it is very essential in our life. Okay. Some other examples includes sodium chloride, wherein this NaCl or sodium chloride is being known in a common term as table salt. What are the other examples? Carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is the gas that we release from for respiration, no? What are the others pa? Ammonia. So this ammonia is being used as a fertilizer. So those are just few examples under inorganic compounds. So on this experiment, our goal is to introduce the basic differences between organic and inorganic compound, which is very important to you guys as a future pharmacist because you can use it in understanding the drugs and laboratory chemicals. At the same time, if you will look for the area of the pharmacy department or pharmaceutical field, most of the pharmaceutical drugs are organic compounds. But on the laboratory side, the reagents and electrolytes are inorganic compounds. Okay? Copy. So next is the objectives of this experiment. So at the end of our experiment, we must be able to define what is organic chemistry and its scope or coverage. And lastly is to differentiate what is organic compounds from inorganic compounds. So the goal in here is to understand what organic chemistry is and how organic compounds can differ from inorganic ones in terms of the structure, properties, and application. Example, knowing the differences of the two can help us explain why paracetamol behaves differently from the table salt in water. Okay? So next we have the medicinal chemistry. What is medicinal chemistry? So this chemistry deals with the physico-chemical properties of drugs that affect the biological action. So it means that it studies how the chemical structure can affect the drug activity in the body, which includes the absorption, metabolism, and the therapeutic effect of the medicine in our body. For example, the liquid medicine works faster than the tablets because they dissolve more easily and are absorbed quicker because it is in liquid form. This is important to be studied, this medicinal chemistry, because this is the drug design and formulation of each medicine. Okay? So next we have the organic molecules. So these molecules perform key functions in nature, drugs, and technology. And these organic molecules usually contain carbon and hydrogen element. And they form as the basis of life and many of the medicines. So what are the examples of organic molecules? One good example is the glucose, and this glucose are being used as an energy source. Another example, proteins. This proteins is being used in body structures, okay? Another example, aspirin and paracetamol. These two are being used as an ingredient in medications or medicines. Most of these organic molecules are biologically active compounds are organic in nature. Okay? Next, we have the acetaminophen. So it is also known as the N-acetyl para-aminophenol or the N4-hydroxyphenylacetamide. It is an organic compound that is commonly used as a pain reliever and fever reducers. And in terms of the physical properties, it appears as an odorless white crystalline solid with a bitter taste and has a slightly acidic pH of 6. And it is available under many brand names, but the active ingredient remains the same. And also, this acetaminophen is safe when taken at proper doses, but overdose can cause liver damage due to toxic metabolite formation. And as you can see on the right side of this slide is the chemical structure of the acetaminophen. Okay? Next, still under acetaminophen drug. So this is commonly used to treat pain and fever such as headache, muscle pain, toothache, and colds. And also, during the liver metabolism, it produces a toxic byproduct that we call NAPK, or in longer name, it is known as the N-acetyl P-benzoquinone imine. Okay? So this napki can cause liver damage when taken in high doses. Pag nag-take ka ng high doses of acetaminophen or paracetamol, pwede ka kasi ma-overdose. The max number of tablets that can be taken by a person is 8 tablets kung 500 milligram yan. Pero kung i-convert mo siya into grams, the total will be 4 grams. Yun yung maximum daily dose ng paracetamol. So, in case na magkaroon ng overdose ng acetaminophen or paracetamol, what you can use as an antidote is the NAC or the N-acetylcysteine. Okay? Or it is also known or commonly known as the fluimucil or the X-Flem brands. Ayan, no? So, this N-acetyl is given as an antidote to prevent the hepatotoxicity or the damage of the liver because of the high dose. Okay? Next sample, we have the sucrose. So this sucrose is also known as a cane sugar, saccharose, or table sugar. And it is an organic compound classified as a carbohydrate. In terms of the physical properties, it is described as a white, odorless, crystalline, or powdery solid with a natural sweet taste. And if you will heat it, the sucrose will undergo the process of caramelization, wherein during this process, it will produce a characteristic caramel odor and brown color. Okay? And as you can see on your right side, that is the chemical structure of the sucrose. Okay? And also, sucrose is a highly soluble in water, which makes it easy to use in beverages and food products. And in our body, it is broken down into glucose and fructose, which serve as an important energy source of our body. And because of its pleasant taste and stability, sucrose is widely used as a sweetener, preservatives, and flavor enhancers in food, pharmaceutical syrups, and also oral liquid medications. So next sample is the aspirin, or also known as the ASA. So for the chemical name of this sample, it is 2-acetoxybenzoic acid, or the C9H8O4. For the drug classification, it is under the NSAID, or the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug classification. In terms of the administration, it is being taken orally. For the uses, it is being used as an analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, and anticoagulant, wherein it is being used to prevent blood clots, and also it is being used as a low dose for heart attack or stroke prevention. In terms of mechanism on how it processes it inside our body, it irreversibly inhibits the COX-1 and the COX-2. Then after that, there's the reduce, or it reduces the prostaglandins and the thromboxanes, wherein these two will lower the pain, inflammation, the fever, and the platelet aggregation. And for the available brands and those in the market, we have Aspilet, Aspec Easy, Bayer Aspirin, Cortal. For the doses, it is available in the market with an mg of 80 mg, 100 mg, and 300 mg. And for the side effects and precautions, we have bleeding because of the blood thinning effect, stomach irritations or ulcers, and it should be avoided in children with viral infection because it may lead to Reyes syndrome. And lastly, it should be avoided with hypersensitivity reaction that may possibly be happen. Okay? And as you can see from the right side bottom of this slide is the chemical structure of the aspirin. Next sample, we have the sodium chloride, or also known as the NaCl. Okay, so if you will check this slide on the upper right side of this slide, that is the chemical structure of the sodium chloride. Kindly take note of that. Okay, so for the common names or other terms or names of this sample, it is also known as a table salt, rock salt, solar salt, sea salt, and dendritic salt. Okay, so for the chemical nature, it is a metal halide composed of sodium and chloride ions, wherein this too is capable of ion exchange. And in terms of the physical properties, it is described as a white crystalline solid that is highly soluble in water. Next slide, still under sodium chloride or NaCl. So let's proceed with the different uses of this sample, okay? So it is being used as an electrolyte replenisher in medical and IV solutions. And also this is being used as a tonicity adjusting agent in pharmaceuticals and IV fluids. And lastly, it is being used as a condiment and preservative for food seasonings and preservations. Next sample, we have the calcium carbonate, or also known as the CaCO3 in chemical formula. And as you can see from this slide, on the bottom part, right side, that is the chemical structure of the calcium carbonate. So if we will going to describe what is the physical appearance of this sample, it is described as a white odorless powder or colorless crystals. In terms of the chemical nature, it is an inorganic salt of calcium and carbonate, wherein it is slightly soluble in water and it reacts with acids to release the carbon dioxide. And in terms of the uses, it is being used as a phosphate buffer in hemodialysis to maintain the blood pH. And also, it is being used as a calcium supplement to prevent or treat osteoporosis and support bone health. Also, it is being used as an antacid to relieve heartburn, indigestion, or stomach acidity. And the other uses of this calcium carbonate is food additive and industrial application like cement, chalk, and toothpaste. Okay? And some precautions in using calcium carbonate. In excessive intake of this sample or this calcium carbonate, it may cause hypercalcemia or kidney stones. And it should be taken with caution to those patients with renal impairment. The last sample that we use for this experiment one is the iodine crystals or the I2. Okay, so in terms of the physical appearance of the sample, it is a violet black crystals with metallic luster and a sharp characteristic odor. In terms of the chemical nature, it is an essential trace element wherein it is the least reactive of the halogens or among the halogens. In terms of the biological role, it is required for the production of the thyroid hormones. Example of these are the thyroxine or the T4 and the triiodothyronine or the T3. Okay, which regulates the metabolism. And the usage of this sample, it is being used as a nutritional supplement in iodized salt, and it is being used as well as a medical or antiseptic application as a disinfectant and wound care, and also it is being used as an antidote that is used in some chemical poisoning such as decontaminant. Okay, and kindly take note precautions in using these iodine crystals. The toxicity. Excess iodine can cause iodine poisoning that can cause thyroid dysfunction or skin irritation. And it should be used carefully in supplement or medical form. And as you can see on the right side of this slide, upper right side, that is the chemical structure of the iodine crystals. Okay. So next, for the data and result. So what is being presented on the screen is the physical properties of the 6 samples that we had for the experiment 1. Okay, so kindly take note of the following in terms of the physical properties. In terms of the categories naman, the organic compounds are the acetaminophen, sucrose, and the aspirin. And for the inorganic compounds, these are the NaCl or the sodium chloride or table salt, the calcium carbonate or the chalk, and the iodine crystals. Okay? And for the chemical structure and chemical formula, those are written for each slide of each sample that I have discussed a while ago. You may go back to those slides to check for the chemical structure and chemical formula of each sample. Okay? So that ends our discussion for experiment 1. Okay? For any questions or concerns, you may PM me through Google Chat or you may email me at my AUF email address. Okay? Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.